The Information and Broadcasting Minister, Ravi Shankar Prasad, has reacted to the latest Facebook controversy. This, of course, is reference to India's developments as far as this story goes. He says that the Indian government will not tolerate the use of social media to influence the election process. So this is what he said.
हम प्रेस की आजादी का पूरा समर्थन करते हैं. हम बोलने की आजादी का भी पूरा समर्थन करते हैं. हम सोशल मीडिया पर खुले विचारों के संप्रेषण का भी समर्थन करते हैं. लेकिन सोशल मीडिया का दुरुपयोग कर अवांछनीय तरीकों से चुनाव को प्रभावित करने के प्रयास को न तो हम उसको टॉलरेट करेंगे और न ही उसे परमिट करेंगे.
All right, so that was Ravi Shankar Prasad detailing the Indian government's stance on the use of social media to sway things like elections. Kartikeya Sharma, WION's political editor, joining me on the broadcast for more on that story. Obviously, this is in relation to what's going on with Facebook. Kartikeya, help us understand why the Union Minister thought it necessary to bring this point up. Is it because of state elections this year or the general elections next year, or perhaps both?
I think it's because of the state elections. For the matter of fact, Aisha, as you know, we had been running this story for past 2 days, and the chat we had an hour back, you said that the fact that it involves Facebook users will have an impact on the Indian politics, and and then to have Ravi Shankar Prasad saying not only that he will look into the matter, but in a press conference accusing Congress of actually having a truck with an organization whom he accuses of stealing the data. But I think that's just politics. But the fact of the matter is that we live in a global village, and the story has resonated in India. It has resonated in its typical form, whereby one political party has accused the other political party. Congress says that we have not contracted this particular organization. But the fact of the matter is, the organization itself has been in touch with both BJP and Congress. So, BJP cannot cry holier than thou. So, every political party wants an understanding of data for better electoral management. That's the hard truth, whether it's United States of America, UK or India. But this company has somehow also touched a raw nerve in the Indian political system. So there will be going to be a Congress response. The government response has come in form of Ravi Shankar Prasad, but there will be a response from Congress by the chief spokesperson Randeep Surjewala very soon, and one will have to wait and see what he says in defense of the Congress. But to put it on record, the company was not only in touch with JDU and Congress, they were also in touch with Bharatiya Janata Party.
And I was going to ask you, from that statement, despite the fact that it was quite apparent that a barb was being, let's say, thrown at the Congress party, was Mr. Prasad also in some ways trying to clarify his own party's use of social media, which is something that it's very adept at, and its figureheads from the Prime Minister to the BJP President to Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Minister. These are all individuals who enjoy great popularity on social media and have been congratulated for the manner in which they've been able to effectively use social media.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. If you look at some of the stories which have come out, including Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the fake bots, or the fake Twitter followers. So that's the harsh reality of social media terrain, that it can be manipulated. It can be manipulated for a political advantage. It can be manipulated to project a certain opinion as the opinion. So yes, social media has been open to abuse. Social media is also open to hate, and social media that way does not create multiple opinions. It brings people with similar or same opinion together and creates different worlds, and that is why you have more difference of opinion on Twitter rather than having conversation. So you have lack of conversation on social media.
Right, and Kartikeya, but as time progresses, as people have gotten used to seeing things like Facebook and Twitter on a day-to-day, there is also another chain of thought that says these are echo chambers, these are places where you go to have your views validated, and they aren't necessarily places for engagement of two diverse streams of thought. And perhaps that has also been highlighted by phenomena such as dark advertising, where one company can utilize a certain ad and place it for a certain target group, knowing full well what that target group's ideologies are already. So does this open up a whole new area, new grey area perhaps, for political parties that they'll have to contend with if they are to be considered as viable options for the electorate?
You see, there are two things here. Yes, I completely agree with you that it's like an echo chamber, because, you know, there's nothing called a melting pot. You know, long time back people said, how do you describe New York? Few people say it's a melting pot, but ultimately, you know, the whole salad bowl theory accepted grounds that, you know, New York is more like a salad bowl rather than a melting pot. So coming back to the issue of social media, I think it's a very healthy discussion whether Indian data or the data of Indian users is that being exploited. Is our data new fodder for political parties to exploit, shape our opinion? I think that's a very important debate which is taking place in subcontinent. Unfortunate part is that instead of a debate and a discussion, today what has happened is the charge is being traded. So I hope that debate remains, conversation remains on this issue, rather than a charge and a counter charge between Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress, because every political party would like to milk this data, because this data is the new oil.
Absolutely, and the import of it is so huge, Kartikeya. I mean, it's almost impossible to imagine that certain choices you make on a Facebook could end up perhaps swaying an election. The hope, of course, is that this information makes its way down to the electorate. But the sort of relationship that exists between social media and mainstream media, you never know, it might just get left out of the conversation. We leave it at that for now. Kartikeya, thanks very much for joining us.